Can you see me now? / hear me? I'm here. Oh, you got to love OBS. You've got to love OBS. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but anyway, we're here now. Good evening. Who have we got in? Thanks for waiting patiently. We've got Naz. We've got Catherine. We've got Chappie. That's not your name, though. I know it's not your name. Can you put your name in the chat so I can address you by your name? Oh, I'm getting warnings. Hang on. Warning. What's that saying? It's not really helping me out. It's saying something about the stream. Let me know if the quality is okay. It should be fine. I don't have any dropped frames or anything like that, so I think I'm all right. But I'm getting some kind of weird warning anyway. Cool. So we've got, well, I can't see how many folk we've got in. OBS has been a bit weird. Maybe I can see from here. 5 watching, it says. Okay, right. Anyway. It's Andrew, but people call me Chappie. Excellent. Okay, well, I'll continue to call you Chappie, Andrew. Right. So, anyway, technical issues aside, I hope everyone's doing well tonight. It's been an interesting week so far. I've been playing around with auto dubbing on my videos, and I've kind of come to the conclusion that it's not good. So yeah, I did a video on Monday night, which is actually it was a few views away from being ranked 1 of 10 after 48 hours, and it's had more views than, yeah, so I mean, it's because it's almost 1 of 10, it's had more views in this time frame despite the fact that it's had a lot less impressions. And this has been, I've kind of been battling with this in my mind for ages about auto dubbing, and with some of the videos, so the video I'm talking about that went out 48 hours ago has had about 4,000 impressions, or just under that. Whereas other videos will have had auto dubbing enabled has had like 20,000 kind of plus impressions after this kind of time. But I don't get any more views despite the far greater number of impressions, and therefore the click-through rate isn't as good. So the click-through rate currently is sitting at about 4%, which by recent standards, I've been getting click-through rates of like less than 1% and stuff. And I think that's largely, my theory anyway, is that it's getting put out to people who speak a different language and don't really want to watch something that's auto-dubbed, is my theory. So I've decided to get rid of auto-dubbing. So I'm interested to hear what you guys think. If you guys are using auto-dubbing, and if you are, or if you've recently enabled it, have you seen a difference? Have you seen things like click-through rate go down, or are you seeing more views as a result? Be interested to know. Cool, let's have a look at the chat. Everyone's saying hello to each other, which is cool. We've got Jim over 30. Hello there. And we've got, I can't pronounce it properly probably, but My Monjaro Journey, which is Paul. Paul, the London cab driver. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you've reached out to me in the comments before, Paul. So, yes. Okay, so I know pretty much everyone's names that's in, so that's cool. Catherine is saying, that's interesting, Steve. Will this let me... What happens if I go pin message here? What's that doing? Oh, it's just pinning it to the top. Yeah, I don't want to remove them. I just want to unpin it. That's the one thing I've not figured out in OBS yet, actually, is how... So I've managed to get the chat, like, I think hopefully you guys can see like the chat up in the top right corner. But what I haven't figured out yet is how to pin comments. So if I go to the chat here, like if I just went to Catherine's comment there and clicked on this, what's the options? I can add people as a moderator. I go to their channel. I can pin the comment, which just means pin it to the top of the chat window. I can remove it. I can put user in a timeout, hide user on this channel, or view their channel. Done the right thing, but this is actually just to get the chat up on the screen, which I don't know if it serves any benefit because you guys can see that anyway. So let me know. I might just delete that. Right, see if there's any additional chats going on. We've got a question from Jim over 30. If I can get my mouse to stop clicking on it. Can you talk about making pivots in your channel? I'm moving towards more practical kettlebell training advice. I'm still doing some mindset shift videos, but making them more of a secondary thing. Previously, the channel was all about mindset. And in your most two recent videos have been practical kettlebell videos, which are really fun to make and are doing well. I think if they're doing well, I would lean into that. Any positive kind of responses you're seeing in your videos that are, if that's improved number of views, better engagement, better click-through rates and stuff like that. Well, especially viewer retention as well. If average watch time is good, compared to the mindset videos, then maybe that is maybe something people want more. If you enjoy making those videos more, then that's a win-win for everybody. So that would be my advice. But yeah, in terms of pivoting, I kind of did that with my channel. I don't know if it was just I hadn't given the channel enough time, but I was trying to, in the YouTube kind of growth niche, and Naz will kind of talk about this as well. It's difficult as a new channel to say or do things with certain authority, because why should people listen to me about YouTube growth when I've not grown a channel yet? So I was doing videos like titled like, oh, do this to to get loads of views and all this kind of stuff, and it's like, well, I've not gotten lots of views myself yet. So I did like a bit of a pivot video, which was a kind of unedited, just me kind of sitting speaking to the camera and talking about just exactly that, that I didn't really feel kind of qualified to be talking about the things I was talking about. So if I didn't feel like I had the conviction, if I couldn't say stuff with conviction, no one's going to take it seriously. No one's going to want to listen to someone unless they're saying it with real kind of authority. So I decided to approach things slightly different and make it more of a kind of a journey, like following my own journey, which I do that now. I do talk a little bit more about kind of the fundamentals of getting people to watch your videos and things like that, because I have seen an improvement. My channel is growing compared to that pivot video I did. I'm over like 220 kind of subscribers now, which is still small, but I feel like I've started to kind of learn and implement things and started to kind of, I feel more qualified, even although I'm still quite a small channel, I feel more qualified to kind of talk about those things. And those videos are starting to do well, or again, not amazingly well, but relative to what I'd been doing. So am I answering your question? I don't know. I'd say if the kettlebell workouts are being well received and you're enjoying making them, then I would maybe make those the focus. And as you said, the mindset shift stuff, there's maybe still an appetite for that from your subscribers. After all, that's why people have subscribed to the channel. So you could be doing both. It's not like you're breaking out into different niches. It's still all to do with fitness at the end of the day. So I think that should be safe. Okay, let's have a look at other questions. Chappie says, pretty sure I have auto dubbing on, never turned it off to see if there's a difference. Yeah, I don't know for sure that it's negatively impacting things, but what I found when I had it enabled, when you go into analytics and see like videos that are suggesting this video, so other people's videos, and they get the suggestions down the side, there was some really obscure stuff suggesting my videos, and it was a lot of stuff from like South Korea, and it was stuff that was nothing to do with YouTube at all. And I just thought, these are impressions that are getting put out there for people to click on. And if people are watching this video that's in South Korean and it's nothing to do with YouTube, are they really interested in seeing my English spoken video about YouTube? So I was heavily skeptical, and I just thought, yeah, fine, I'm getting all these impressions, but if people aren't clicking on the video, then I'm getting the same kind of number of views. But obviously the click-through rate is holding up higher. The retention is better, because that was the other thing, was the people that were clicking on it, who maybe were, I'm guessing, from a non-English speaking country, were maybe clicked on it thinking they were going to get something in their language that wasn't auto-dubbed, and then were disappointed and then switched off. So, I'm getting better retention and better click-through rate. Granted, it's on a smaller number of impressions, but I personally think that's sending better signals to YouTube. And the video that I've just done a couple of days ago is kind of holding strong. It's, 4% of a click-through rate. It's nothing amazing, but it's better than previous videos. And yeah, it seems like it's kind of just slowly ticking away. So yeah, I'm not telling people to disable auto dubbing, but I've personally decided not to do it anymore. Gear Up Survival says hello. Hello, Gear Up Survival. We've got Catherine. Don't think the chat on screen is necessary, but then I have 60-year-old eyes. Yeah, I don't know if I'll keep it. As I say, I thought I was setting OBS up to allow me to put comments up on the screen, like individual comments of people, but it wasn't. So I think I'll probably just delete it. Can I do that whilst I'm in the middle of the stream? I don't know. Oh yeah, I can get rid of it actually. How does that work? Ah yes, it's gone now. Okay. I'll stick it back on. Off, on. I'll leave it on for now. Chappie has said to Jim over 30, funny rebranding and pivoting your channel was my last video. Yes, it was. I watched that actually, Chappie. Just trying to find my way in the comments here. Catherine saying, Jim over 30, I pivoted twice when I restarted this channel before settling on personal growth. And then first I shared my weight loss journey 7 years ago without dieting, and then YouTube journey. Yeah, and obviously, Catherine, you've now got a second channel, which is about YouTube growth as well, which probably makes sense. But yeah, Catherine, your personal growth channels going from strength to strength, so that's good. Gear Up Survival, when you said journey, I immediately thought of Pokemon. We've got Andrew Farmer in. Hey, Andrew. Hope you're well. We've got Nafisa, the Pursuit of Happiness, saying hello. Hello to you. Jim is dropping off. Thanks for answering. You're most welcome. And Paul is saying that on my channel I talk about weight loss, but I also talk about my job and my life outside of weight loss. This seems to bring more people in to be interested in me and monetize in 2 months. That's good going. Yeah, that's interesting that you say that, because I mean, it depends what you're making videos about, obviously, but a lot of the time, people, unless you are a vlog channel, a lot of people will say, like, oh, don't speak about yourself too much. But then I think if it's sharing your own experiences on a particular topic, then I guess that's probably, and that's kind of what I do with my YouTube channel. Is, I'm talking about the problems, or struggles that I've had with kind of YouTube in the early sort of stages, and drawing on my own experiences, because that's relatable. Because my target audiences are fellow kind of smaller YouTube channels that are trying to grow, so it makes sense for me to talk about that, because it's relatable to my audience. Because I guess it's a reassurance in a way that it's normal to be going through the same things. Because when you first start on YouTube, you tend to kind of, until you start joining these kind of communities and these lives and things, you start to kind of doubt it and think, oh, I'm the only small channel out there, and I'm the only one that's not seeing growth and that type of stuff. So that was the whole point with mine, with my channel, was to kind of let people know that what you're experiencing is normal, because I'm having that, and other people I know have had it, kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, getting monetized in 2 months, that's really, really good. So you're obviously doing something right, Paul. So like I was saying to Jim, just lean into whatever is working. And I think that's what, when people start new channels and you don't have an audience yet, you do have to experiment a little bit and try different types of videos. You might want to be keeping to a niche. I do still personally think that when people start out, they shouldn't just make videos about all sorts of different things, because it is going to make it very hard for YouTube to find the right people for you, and it might stunt your growth. But if you've got like a general kind of topic that you're going to focus on, or a niche, you can try different things, and little pivots, just to see what sticks. A bit like Jim did with his kettlebell videos. He's not gone completely off piste from his niche, but he's tried something different, and lo and behold, it's kind of working. So I think, yeah, his experience there and yours, Paul, shows that don't be afraid to experiment, because that's the thing. As long as you enjoy making the videos, whatever they are, if you try these different things and something really takes off, whereas if you just kind of think, oh no, I'm going to stick to this one thing and I'm not really going to, venture too far from that at all, you might be missing a trick. Because even if you're getting views and getting subscribers slowly, you might find that actually just pivoting ever so slightly, and just coming at something from a slightly different angle, could be what's going to unlock faster growth. But you won't know that until you try it, kind of thing. So, experiment, I guess, is the point. Let's see what else is in the chat. Yeah, Naz says, I think there's a lot of interest in the life of a London cabbie, to be fair, mate. I think, genuinely, if you've got a, if you've even, I don't know if you still are a London cabbie, Paul, or if you previously were, or what, but you must have so many stories, to tell, because London's just such a, vast, diverse city. You must have all sorts of people from all sorts of backgrounds, with all sorts of tales that come into your cab. And I dare say there's, that, YouTube, if you're good at telling a story, um, and you've got loads of stories to kind of lean on, that's maybe there's maybe an element of that, just from an entertainment value, if nothing else. My dad used to be a taxi driver, not in London, but up in Aberdeen, and he didn't do it for all that long, but um, he'd obviously worked kind of, the money was in the Friday and Saturday nights, people going out for a drink and that type of stuff. And in the short time that he did it, he had some stories to tell. So yeah, I could see how people would be into that. Right. What else have we got here? Oh, so that's interesting, Chappie. You're saying that your last video got way more impressions than usual, but the suggesting videos 80% not English channels. Yeah, so that was kind of what I was finding. So what I found was, with auto dubbing enabled, I would have, an amount of impressions in the first like few hours, and then I would just suddenly see a huge jump in impressions. Um, like the curve on uh, analytics would be going shooting up like that, but I wasn't getting the click through. As it was going up, the click through rate was just nosediving. So initially, having had a modest amount of impressions for most videos, it was exciting to see that. But then, in terms of views, I wasn't getting any real benefit from it. And I thought, if anything, YouTube's done all these impressions to all these people from who don't speak English. No one's clicking on it, so YouTube's probably going to think, oh well, it's no one wants to watch it, and that it'll just stop. Whereas the video that I've just done 2 days ago, it's about 4,000 impressions after 2 days, which, yeah, I'd say the other videos that had auto dubbing enabled were getting maybe 20,000 after a day. However, I'd say the views are better, if not, or certainly no worse, but maybe even slightly better after kind of 48 hours. And the impressions kind of line graphs kind of like this rather than that, but then so is the views as well. The click-through rate's kind of holding relatively solid. So, and I just noticed Jay's just come into the chat actually. Hi Jay. And most of you will know Jay's video that went kind of sort of semi-viral last week. That had been out for, I think, a couple of weeks, or even maybe more than a couple of weeks. And, I think it had an okay number of views, it had an okay number of impressions, but it was kind of just kind of, it was just kind of slowly working its way and creeping and creeping and creeping. And then, the click-through rate, I think, Jay, you told me it was around about 7%, which is solid, and I think maybe retention about 50%. So it was just kind of, slowly kind of chugging along, and then all of a sudden it just went off. So, and I know Jay, from discussions with Jay, doesn't have auto dubbing enabled either. So yeah, it's been interesting with this last video just to see the difference. So I'm not saying that my video is necessarily going to suddenly go wild in a couple of weeks' time, but it's kind of, the curve is slowly and gradually working its way up and up, which I think is better than just skyrocketing with impressions after like a day, but no one clicking on it, or no more people clicking on it than normal, and then it just kind of peters out. So yeah, I in theory it sounded like a good thing. Think, well, you're extending out to a wider audience, but when I think about it, I'm like, well, even if it was auto dubbed into English and it was talking about something I was interested in, there's other people I can go to who speak my language that I can listen to, and I would prefer that over, an AI auto dubbed voice. So yeah, even if I clicked on it, I'd probably find, oh right, okay, this is auto dubbed, and I'd probably click off it really quickly. So yeah, I don't think that's my take anyway. I'm going to stick without auto dubbing for a while. Okay, who have we got in the comments? So Jay is here. Nas says, Jay, I can't get shot of you at the moment. Your mug's all over my homepage on billboards. OnlyFans and now here. I've not seen OnlyFans yet, Nas, but give it time, I suppose. Yeah, I know Jay's, well, obviously we just touched on Jay's video there. Yeah, it's done really well. And, I think, it was well deserved because Jay put a lot of effort into that video. You can just tell that by watching it. And he does just, not just that video, he generally does put a lot of effort into his videos. That's very clear when you watch them. And yeah, he was due a bit of a spike. So it was good to see. And yeah, that was the other kind of thing I've taken from Jay as well was I've been recently working or trying to do 3 videos a week, and I've given that up. I think it was about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, maybe. I was actually speaking to Catherine, and I was feeling pretty kind of unmotivated. And I think looking back at it now, because Catherine she's pretty wise and she kind of called it out as being kind of burnout. And I think it was, when I think about it back, I'm thinking, I work a full-time job, I've got kids and, a lot going on at home. And every spare moment I had was trying to come up with ideas, write scripts. And I was probably leaning too heavily on ChatGPT to do the script for me and just thinking, well, it knows what it's talking about. And in actual fact, it's like, it doesn't sound like me sometimes when I read it back. So yeah, it was getting a little bit kind of frustrating. It was kind of taking the joy out of making YouTube videos. So I took a leaf out of Jay's book and I'm going to just do one video and a live, but one video a week going forward, and just spend a lot more time on it. And that video I did on Monday, I really enjoyed doing it, and I felt a lot more proud having put the video out and put a bit more time into it and put more thought into it. And it could be the disabling of the auto dubbing, so maybe that's why, but hopefully there's an element of the time that I've put into the video, which is why it's not doing any better in terms of views than other videos, but for the lower number of impressions it's had, it's punching above its weight compared to the other ones. So hopefully that's a sign that I should be doing, kind of less but better quality. And you end up rushing videos, and I think that comes across. If a video is rushed, the edit will look rushed. It might look a little bit untidy, and quality over quantity, I think. Right. Jay, you're saying it's true, Steve. I wouldn't want an AI voice video either. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's the thing. I want to watch. We all talk about authenticity on YouTube, but even if the person recording it's done it very authentically, once it's been dubbed into a different language, it loses that straight away, and you're not going to get the connection with people. You're never going to connect with someone. And if you watch the video and want to comment on it, if you're English speaking like me, then you're going to probably comment in English. So they maybe don't understand English. So I know that you can do translate and stuff like that, but yeah, I just feel like, I think the auto dubbing's gone for good now, for me anyway. Naz has said, of course, impressions are down. Jay's been robbing them all. Yeah, it's been a good week for Jay, and I think although I'm sure it's tongue in cheek from Naz. I'm sure Naz is proud of Jay and happy for him, as we all are. Last I checked, you were at about 850 subs, I think. Don't know where you started before that video started spiking. I think you were over 300, so 500 subs in a week. Not even a week, I don't think. And growing. We've got Nicola Recipes in the house. Hello. Good day, Steve. Good day, everyone. Good to have you, Nicola. Jay saying, since I started doing one a week, I'm less tired, less burned out, and my videos do much better. And that's even aside from the outlier. Yeah. Well, I've noticed that, as I say, just watching Jay's videos, that you see the effort that goes into them, and like a lot of us, you're juggling full-time work as well, and a home life, so there's only so many hours in a day, right? So trying to produce videos of the kind of quality that you've been doing lately, but doing that 3 times a week, where does the time come from? We don't all have teams of editors and stuff like that, so yeah, I think it is true. Just, I found that, trying to really think about the title and thumbnail, that was my biggest issue, was trying to just get videos out as quick as I could, and the title and the thumbnail was just kind of that'll do, rather than stopping to think, well, is this actually, is it making clear what the video is it driving enough curiosity to encourage people to click, and is the thumbnail supporting it, and whereas I was probably just kind of a bit slapdash, and even looking back at some of them, I've not changed them, but just looking back at them, and you think, yeah, okay, that title maybe is a little bit misleading, or it's maybe not quite clear what we're getting at here. So if I'm picking that up, then other people are, and then people aren't going to click on it, right? Okay, who else have we got? We've got Peter. Hey, Peter, how's it going? I see, Peter, you've scheduled your first solo live. I want to say that it's on Sunday. I think it's Sunday. I think I've been asked to be notified on it, so I'll keep a lookout for it. Hopefully, I can join. Strange noises up here. I live out in the country, and I'm upstairs in my garage. So every now and then you hear stuff and you think, what's going on? Just trying to see if I am caught up in comments. Yeah, Peter saying 9 p.m. Sunday. Cool. I'll try and join that. So I've got a question for Jay. So given the sudden spike in activity on your channel, how many extra people are you getting reaching out asking to do your thumbnails and edit your videos? Have you seen a big difference in that? I've started getting emails from people asking to do my thumbnails and edit my videos, actually. That's become quite a pain, getting those kind of emails and stuff. I get folk are trying to make money and stuff, but yeah, I'm not. Somebody was wanting me to. Yeah, Jay saying hundreds. Yeah, what was it? Someone was wanting to charge me for doing. It was like for like a thumbnail. I'm sure it was like £200 a thumbnail. Like, no. Canva's 15 quid a month or whatever it is. Nicola says, oh yes, Jay, seriously, that video is running. It absolutely is. Catherine's got to go. Yeah, I know you're away to get ready for your own live, Catherine, so thanks for joining this one. It was appreciated. Yeah, I agree, Jay. One of them called you a bastard when I said no thanks. They were lucky to even get a reply. I didn't even bother. Um, it's the people that try to be sneaky about it. So you get people that will email you going, "Oh, I've subscribed to your channel, just wanted to reach out and say hello." And then I naively think, "Oh, that's nice." And I do hit a reply and say, "Oh, thanks, yeah, glad you're enjoying the videos," or whatever. And then all of a sudden they slap you with it, like because I've responded once. And then you kind of think, "Oh, well, now I just seem like a knob if I don't reply and at least, politely politely decline the offer." Um, that's just saying, did you get my email? Oh dear. Yeah, it is. I mean, yeah. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I'd be interested just to see, like, well, okay, tell you what, make me a thumbnail then, and let's do like a free trial kind of thing. I've not had anyone offer that. It's always kind of they want paid for that kind of first one, because I would just be interested to know like what they come up with, because and I guess they must get work from it, but I think especially if you are in the niche that like Jay and Naz and I are in with YouTube growth, then we've done our own homework in terms of what makes good thumbnails. Um, Although my click through rates and previous videos would suggest I haven't done that homework, but um, we know the fundamentals of what make decent thumbnails. So um, you think they would kind of look at that and go, okay, probably no point in reaching out to those people, but it's probably just a blanket kind of thing, isn't it? So throw enough. What's the phrase? Can't remember, but cast cast the net wide, and maybe some people will bite, I guess. So Peter's saying, wouldn't it be better to try Fiverr? Yeah, I mean, I guess I know that it's more kind of trusted, to find people on there. You'd probably find they wouldn't charge as much as what the people that are just reaching out to you by email charge or are proposing to charge. Um, my thing with that now is that once upon a time that might have been appealing, but now that you've got things like Canva, especially if you've got the paid version of Canva, then in terms of thumbnails, and I know you can obviously kind of go really extreme with thumbnails, um, and start leaning on AI and stuff like that. So there's maybe people who know how to get the best out of AI tools to come up with really extravagant thumbnails. But I tried doing my own AI thumbnails, and I didn't really feel like they were doing me any favors at all. And then I kind of reached out to some of you guys to kind of seek opinion, and I think generally the opinion was no, that they're not really needed. And then so if you just use Canva, you can generate a thumbnail that is um, you know bold contrasting colors, big text, and if you're applying basic rules like rule of thirds and stuff like that, then you can create it yourself. And if you were to pay people, like I don't know how many of these people that email you saying, "Oh, I'll do a thumbnail for £200," are just going on Canva and doing it that way. Spend I don't know how much time I really spent kind of researching Canva on YouTube. I might have watched one or two videos, I think, on Think Media, and then I was like, right, okay, I understand what to do now, and just went and used the tool. Far better to do that. It didn't cost me anything other than the Canva subscription. Here we go. Let's have a look. Catch up on the chat. Jay saying the worst one was recently when they told me they can triple my views because my video is ranking poorly and has weak SEO. Goodness me. Have they never heard of like the sandwich approach, where you kind of a negative, a positive, and a negative, at least throw you a bone of some description, but no, basically just, your video's crap. We can fix it for you. Jay, and then he said to the guy, I said, dude, I've had 200,000 impressions in 5 days and 90% browse. Why do I search? Why do I want search optimization? That's when he turned nasty. And he can't handle the reality of it, can he? Yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah, that's a fair point as well. There must be so many people. I mean, I knew a guy who it wasn't so much for YouTube, but he was like an SEO sort of person, and he would do it for people's websites and stuff like that. But obviously, there's just so many AI tools now that can do that, and with YouTube now, it's transcribing your video as it's processing it, so you don't it doesn't need SEO sort of titles and descriptions really to in order to kind of make it rank. It's just doing it, and you're getting it through browse, as you say. And even if you want to still have an SEO rich description, you can just ask ChatGPT to knock up a few sentences, and there you go. Let's see in the comments. Peter said you can teach them SEO, Jay, let's be honest, Peter, I'm just like anyone really, throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. Seems like people like watching me act like a Wally. Well, I mean, I think people enjoy, or they kind of warm towards people that can sort of take the mick out of themselves. Because I've had a few. Well, I've got an idea for a parody video as well, but like you were saying, Jay, with your studio one, there's a lot of, it takes quite a lot of time, but because I'm just focusing on one video a week now, I might find that actually I can probably do that, or I can maybe do little bits of the recording of that over a few weeks and then do it, kind of thing. Whereas before, I was like, I can't manage that. So, but yeah, like I think Brooke Sears has done it a few times. In fact, she just had one out. It was only like a minute long. I wouldn't really say it was a parody, but it was like her just dancing around and offering encouragement to other people. But she's done a couple of kind of studio parodies as well, and obviously they're relatable, aren't they? But yeah, I think everyone should not take themselves too seriously. And I mean, I'm off of YouTube. I'm the first person to kind of poke fun at myself, and probably just not loosening off yet enough on YouTube to kind of do the same. But I do kind of try and drop in the odd joke, like in my last video when I talked about my wife being right for the first time. So I still don't think she's seen that yet. But if she does, I'll be living up here permanently. So yeah, hopefully not. What else have we got? Nicola's asking to give it a like. Yeah, I won't say no. Thank you. Nicola always shouts that out, so appreciate that, Nicola. Peter's saying that they like you can do no frills and no fluff, and what you see is what you get. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I think, yeah, I mean, I've had offline conversations with Jay about certain channels, and some especially in the kind of YouTube growth kind of niche, and yeah, there are channels out there that are really just kind of in it for themselves, kind of thing. Everyone wants to grow their channels, don't get me wrong, but I think people appreciate folk kind of just telling it like it is, and not trying to sell people kind of false hope on, uh, you know, oh, do this and you'll blow up overnight, or um, that kind of stuff. I think sort of, the kind of community that we've got on here, um, obviously have all kind of taken a lot of influence from likes of Rob, the Maritimer, obviously, and I think it shows that you can still grow a channel without uh, doing clickbaity stuff, and just telling people stuff that's just obviously very false, just in order to get clicks, and get watch time and stuff. I think you can be honest, um, and still, people will appreciate that more. Because I mean, I found some of these people I'm referring to, they, I kind of subscribed to them initially thinking that, oh, these guys have got big channels, so I should be listening to them, right? And I'm sure a lot of you guys will have done the same. But then obviously, the more you kind of research, and the more you listen to people like Rob, or like Kevin Colby or Brian G. Johnson, and these kind of people, you realize that actually what this other person's telling me is just utter rubbish. So then you kind of start to see through it more. And the only reason I still subscribe to those channels now is just for inspiration, in terms of when I see that they're telling people stuff that's outright nonsense, then I can kind of, I've got ideas for, I talked about ideas for a parody video, and it's kind of leaning on that sort of stuff, and just kind of using that to kind of play the part of these kind of gurus, is kind of where I want to go with it. Cool. What else have we got here? Naz, what editing software are you using? Do you like it? Any plans to change? I'm just using iMovie just now. That was just a kind of panic decision to get off a CapCut. So it's limited. Well, I'll be honest, I've not really studied iMovie enough to see exactly how much you can do with it, but it looks pretty basic, pretty limited. But it's easy to use. And at the moment, when I'm trying to put more into each video, and the editing time's obviously a little bit more now, than it was, albeit only for doing it on one video. Ease of use is good, but I probably will start to look at, I can't remember what the other one was I was going to look at. Was it DaVinci? I think I was maybe going to try and look at that. I know, Jay, you're a big advocate for a Final Cut, so we'll see what. I'm kind of reluctant to pay for an editing software, like a monthly cost, just while the channel's not making money. I'm kind of trying to be as self-sufficient as possible. So I'm already paying for Canva, but I feel like I get my money's worth out of that, because I use it for sort of transitions and thumbnails, and kind of little. I've even been using it for kind of B-roll. I know there's things like Pixabay and stuff which are good for that as well. They've got like free stuff, but even Canva's got some okay stuff. So I feel like I'm getting my money's worth from that. But yeah, I'll obviously reach a point where I want to, hone my editing skills a bit more. And that's another reason for moving down to one video a week, is that I can actually allocate some spare time to learning. So I just need to pick a tool and decide which one I'm going to use. But yeah, it's a good question. And I mean, I'm curious actually what everyone's using. I know that, Jay, I'm sure you use Final Cut Pro. I know Catherine uses iMovie. I know she's left now to do her own live, but interested to know what others are using and what they would recommend. Jay saying, tick this box to go viral. Yeah, that's the type of videos we're talking about. We both know who those people are. Chappie's got a question to add to Naz's question. What do you use to make your thumbnails? So yeah, I've just inadvertently answered that. But yeah, Canva. I mean, the free version's good as well, but I quite like obviously with the paid version, you've got access to everything. And then, as I said, I've started using it now for like B-roll videos and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's about £13 a month. So I don't know what that is in dollars, like $15, $16, something like that. So yeah, I mean, it's good. And you can do the reason I like it is I'll, take photographs of myself. So just over there, I've got like a white screen, and I just record. And I was actually asking Naz about this on his live, how he gets the pictures of him for his thumbnails. He does it slightly differently to me. But I just basically record a 4K 60 frame per second video on my phone. So I just sit against this white screen, and then I just pull all kinds of stupid poses, and then I can just take that into iMovie, select a frame, and export that as a still image. And then what I can do is I can take it into Canva. I can edit it in Canva, so I can change the contrast of the brightness and stuff like that, which negates the need to have things like Lightroom, because I've got Lightroom for photography. And then the good thing about the paid version of Canva is that you've got this like background remover. So when I take the picture in, it's me sitting against a white screen, but obviously I don't want a white screen behind me. I want, my kind of thumbnail background. So you can just hit background remover and it just takes away the white background and just leaves you. And it does a pretty good job of it, to be fair. And then you can then copy that picture of you and put it directly in front, and then you can actually put in text and add it so that it's like appearing, it kind of goes behind your head. So you'll have seen that in thumbnails, and that's just quite a cool effect to use and stuff. So yeah, Canva for thumbnails. I mean, the free version is good as well, but there's just more you can do with the paid one. And as I said, I've started using it for all sorts of stuff now. Jay saying, this is go back to the kind of gurus. They've got big channels because they sell the dream of easy wins, which gets them to go viral, and people then believe their nonsense, and the cycle continues. Yep, that's sadly the case. Because that's everybody wants, everyone wants what they want easy. They want the path of least resistance to getting there. It's true of anything in life, and it's the same with trying to grow a YouTube channel. People want to grow a YouTube channel because they want to make money from it, so they want to get there as quick as they can because everyone wants to make more money. So who are you going to, as I say, I think eventually you kind of become less naive and you understand what it actually takes to grow on YouTube. But in those early stages, you're going to subscribe to these guys because they're telling you that it's as simple as putting a hashtag on your description, or enabling this toggle button on your settings of the video and all this kind of stuff. But if you actually stopped and thought about it, you'd think, well, if it's that easy, there would be no small channels on YouTube other than the ones that have literally just started 2 days ago. Because if you believe what these guys are saying, everyone would start a channel, they'd publish one video and they'd be viral and have thousands or tens of thousands of subscribers overnight. It just doesn't work that way. And it's like anything, isn't it? Like, if it sounds too good to be true, then it probably is. And it's such a true saying of everything. Most things in life you have to work hard for. And that is the key to kind of growing your channel, is putting in the hard slog, even when it doesn't feel like it's going to get you anywhere. Because Again, I feel like this has become like a Jay tribute night, but if you look at Jay's videos, he's been putting in the effort into those videos, and up until last week has probably felt like they're not getting the reward they deserve. But then it just takes the one video for the algorithm to suddenly kick into life, and that video obviously got lots of views. He's gained lots of subscribers from that, and the kind of compound effect of that is that all these people, is it over 500 subscribers in the last 5 days or whatever it is? They're all coming in. They're all then going, oh, because if you subscribe to someone's channel, you're interested in them, and you're going to go and watch all their old videos. So all these other videos start to kind of mushroom in terms of views as well, and that's then sending out good signals to YouTube, and going, oh, look, that video from 3 months ago suddenly getting a bit of interest. We'll start pushing that a bit more, and more people find it. So that will, and I'm not saying it will continue that way all the time, but it just goes to show that every so often, if as long as you're being consistent and putting videos out every week, or at least a video out every week, and you're working at improving on your videos every week, every so often YouTube is going to push one of those videos and it's going to pop off, and you'll start to see the growth, kind of the jumps in subscribers are going to get bigger and bigger. That's what Rob the Maritimer said as well, was after his initial video that did well, he went from getting a couple of subscribers a day to 10 a day to 50 a day to 100 a day, and beyond. And Rob probably gets a couple of hundred subs a day potentially, and obviously that just then compounds and compounds. So, but none of it's possible unless you've done all the hard work to get to that point. So yeah, I think Jay's right though. People just want to get there quick. A lot of people think, oh, I'll start a YouTube channel because they think, oh, it's passive income. I just have to put a few videos out and I can just put my feet up. You can't. You'll only monetize your channel by keeping going and keep chugging away with it. And it's not a get rich quick thing. There's a lot of work that goes into it. But unfortunately, people go in with that mentality, and then there's people out there telling them that they can do it quickly, so they'll just latch on to that. Okay, here we go. Jay was saying that you could show me Final Cut Pro. I think I've been speaking for quite a while because I've had to go way back in the comments. Yeah, you could show me Final Cut Pro on a call. It's a one-time charge. Okay. That's why I liked it originally, and it's a powerful piece of software. Didn't realize that. I thought it was, I just assumed it was subscription-based because everything's subscription-based these days. Yeah, that might be more appealing then. Chappie, you're saying you use DaVinci and you love it. Free version can do an unbelievable amount of stuff, but there is a learning curve. Yeah. Jay's saying, if you pay me £599, I can triple your views as well. Naz is saying, yeah, Resolve is great. I will move back by the end of the year. So what are you using just now, Naz? Nicola saying, I'm so used to CapCut that I'm finding it difficult to change over. Maybe it's the reluctance of learning something new again. I should make an effort. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the whole CapCut thing, I know there's people still using that. In fact, I noticed that Alexa Saranova, she did a short in the last couple of days, and I'm assuming it was because she used the free version of CapCut because it had like the CapCut watermark on it. So, she's maybe still using it. I know that Ty Myers was still using it. I don't know if he still is, but um, relatively recently he was kind of quite relaxed about it. I mean, I was kind of, I didn't immediately stop using it as soon as I heard, but I just got the impression everybody was. So I thought, oh, okay, I'm going to switch to iMovie for now. Um, iMovie I find is quite easy to use. I didn't think CapCut was that difficult to use, but CapCut definitely does more. I was kind of relaxed for a while because I thought, you know, is anyone really going to use my videos? Um, but then I thought, you know, it just didn't sit well with me that, basically they own your content, um, or they can do what they like with your content, kind of thing. Um, my worry was that, could they just kind of claim right to your YouTube channel? Surely not, but I thought, yeah, I'll move to something else. And iMovies, for the level of editing I'm doing just now, I find iMovie does the job. However, text overlays, I find it's a bit limiting with that. So what I'm doing for text overlays is I'm actually doing them in Canva and loading them in, but it does this weird thing where like they want to kind of like sort of expand out on the screen. It's like I just want it to sit still. Like they won't do it. It seems like it won't let you have text overlay on unless it's like moving about. I'm like, why? Like it must be like it must allow you to do it, but for whatever reason, I can't get it to do it. Let's see what else we're saying. Yeah. Jay saying to be honest, Nicola, if you're comfortable, then don't add extra stress by moving. Yeah, that's a fair point. I think don't let moving to another editing software be at the detriment of you either slowing down creating videos or not creating them or editing them as well. If you felt strongly about moving away from CapCut, and I would suggest learning, getting yourself to a point where you're relatively proficient with whatever you're going to move to before then adopting it for your YouTube videos. But that said, it's all about having the time to do it. I would say that but if iMovie, whilst it is limiting, it really depends how much you want to do with your edits. But in terms of like doing cuts, and I mentioned the text overlays are a little bit annoying, but they, doing jump cuts and edits, like cutting out parts and stuff like that, it does all that easily enough. Obviously, it depends if you've got a Mac as well. Let's see. Jay saying, we all put in effort, Steve. I remember when Naz had some breakout videos. It was around the same period after starting that I had mine. Jay's preparing for the dip, he says. Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing. You got to enjoy like the period that you've just had over the last week, because it's exciting. It's exciting to finally see some kind of kind of real kind of spike in growth, I guess, for as a reward for all the work that you put in. And I think I think anybody who's putting videos out on YouTube and is sort of genuinely striving to make improvements with every video deserves that. And some will get it sooner than others. And I think that's just it's just one of these things that you just don't know when it's going to come. But as we've said before, is the only sure way to not get it is to just stop making videos. If you just keep going, and that's why I took a lot of encouragement from Jay's last week, and I know obviously that I think Naz had probably a little bit of I had a couple of videos that had popped off before I even kind of really had stumbled across Naz's channel. So yeah, you see them, and obviously Rob's talked about his one a lot as well, and it's good to hear the stories of other people, and how far in that it happened for them, and what the video was about, and that type of stuff. Because yeah, it's interesting to kind of hear what worked, and a lot of people say that you know like Jay's, a lot of effort went into the video. Other people say, oh, I just, didn't really feel that good about the video at all, but for whatever reason it took off. And that's the other thing as well is, um, even if you're putting out a video, if you've gone to the effort of editing a video, and, I've had videos where I think, oh, like, I'm not all that happy with it. And that's probably going back to the kind of 3 days, the 3 videos a week time, where I was thinking, oh, I'm just kind of putting this out for the sake of it. But I would never have not put it out, because just as easily one of those videos could do well. None of us can claim to understand how YouTube works that well that we could say with any confidence, like, oh, that video is not going to do anything. So yeah, but yeah, when Jay said you're talking about like a dip, I think that's the thing. Obviously you kind of get the big high from that happening, and then the reality is that it's probably highly unlikely that the next few videos are going to have the same effect. You might find that the average view is obviously higher, because all of a sudden you've got you've more than doubled your subscriber base. So you might find that you're getting more views on average than the rest, but nothing that will maybe hit what that outlier video has done. But as I say, there'll be another one of them at some point that will come along and do it. I mean, if you look at like Rob's, his biggest kind of video that did well, I mean, it was obviously, was it like 500,000 views or something? It's currently at, or it's maybe more than that now, and that's probably still, and that was a year ago, just over a year ago, and that's probably still his. I think it is still his most watched video to date. So it just goes to show you that you can have other videos that will do well, and he's obviously has had other ones that have done, again, a lot better than average. But what am I trying to say? Yeah, you'll only ever have a handful of outliers, I guess, every so often that sees those kind of significant jumps. You just can't expect it to become the norm, I guess. But it's nice, but it's a nice kind of surprise, I guess, when they do come along, because we should just be going in with minimal expectations, because statistically, not every video is going to completely blow up. Catch up in the comments. So I just saw one of Naz's comments. Naz is saying, has Jay sponsored your live? No, you'd think so though. I'm just trying to catch up in the comments. The Feast of the Pursuit of Happiness saying there might be no dip. Well, potentially not. Naz is saying, the thing is that without all the clickability rubbish content, there will be no need for our channels. That's absolutely right. This is it. Yeah, it needs people like ourselves to, that kind of talk the real truth, It's got to have a laugh, although it does feel like I'm bullying Jay a little bit at this point. Not at all. Oh, Evie's here as well. Hi, Evie. Jay, on that note, I need to go and empty the dog. Great live stream, Steve. Appreciate all the good convo. Good to see everyone. Yeah, good to see you, Jay. I know he's gone now. Naz is saying, this is what I was laughing at a minute ago. Absolutely love the multiple variations of Alexa's surname I have heard you use. Oh, just me. I always thought I pronounced it the same way. I thought you were going to say like all the different people and how they pronounce her last name. Alexa Saranova. I thought I always said that. Maybe not. If anyone knows the correct pronunciation, feel free to let me know. Naz, I'm still using CapCut as well. There you go. Yeah. Nicholas saying, maybe by the time I'm a millionaire, I'll be able to sue CapCut for using my work. Yeah. You'll be able to afford a fancy lawyer. That's interesting. As I thought he'd moved away from CapCut. Evie's retired. I bought Final Cut Pro and went back to iMovie. Interesting. What was the reason for that, Evie? Was that just you found the learning curve a little bit too steep to kind of get your head round? Because I know that iMovie is I think is very easy to use, and that's why I've kind of been using that rather than going down another route. But be interested to know why you moved back to iMovie, if it was just because these kind of Final Cut Pro and DaVinci and stuff, they're very powerful in terms of what they can do, but it's a lot to learn. But I guess it depends on how much, how fancy you want to get with your editing. I've found at the moment iMovie does everything I need it to do, but I have found a couple of times recently where I'm going, oh, it'd be good if I could do that, but iMovie doesn't facilitate it. Yeah. No, as you just explained to Nicola, a huge deal was made about regarding the terms which other editors have. YouTube has similar rights to your content once uploaded, as do Meta if you use their platforms. Yeah, that is true, I guess. So it's kind of like, well, what difference does it make whether CapCut use it versus anyone else? And the thing is as well, you're up you don't have to in YouTube, but when you upload your video, I always enable that people can remix my content. So obviously we don't want people to just outright copy our videos and just share them like for like, but I enable it so that people could create a short of my video, for example. Sorry. Hearing weird sounds. Strange. I don't know. It's maybe a mouse or something. Yeah, you're kind of almost like by the settings I use, I'm kind of inviting people to kind of recycle my content anyway. So maybe people are getting a little bit too hung up on the CapCut terms of use thing. I don't know. Yeah, Naz, I feel that the risk is really low. Yeah, you're probably right. Your California connections here. Todd is in the house. Hello, Stephen community. Naz is saying my two best performing videos are ones that I thought were okay but not great. Yeah. And that's the thing, because you kind of put out. I think with videos you can be really proud of it when you record it, because I think generally speaking, I think at the time of putting a video out, you're usually fairly happy with it. Some maybe more than others. Unless, as I say, you're kind of trying to put too much out, like I was, and then you kind of start to think, oh, this video, you just knew putting it out, it's kind of like, oh, this is not great. So yeah, generally speaking, we want to be kind of taking pride in the videos that we're doing and the work we're doing with it and stuff. And, so, I mean, I kind of was like, not taking it personally, but just, you kind of think, oh, the work I've put into this and I really try my best. So, but it doesn't guarantee anything. YouTube's not owe you any favors. So, I just, I just think, well, a video doesn't have to blow up for me to still be proud of it. As long as I'm happy with what I've created and put it out there, and generally speaking, it will get some kind of engagement back from subscribers and stuff like that, and some good feedback, which is nice. And if that's the case, 95% of the time, then the other 5% is a video that is maybe a little bit of an outlier, not even necessarily a massive outlier, but just one that does better on average, then, happy days, I guess. But yeah, as I said, I've heard all kinds of stories from people who's, in terms of their best performing videos, and some, yeah, like you said, Naz, they were okay, nothing special, they weren't horrendous. Other people that were like, oh, I really didn't put much thought or time into that video at all, but for whatever reason. And there could be reasons why the ones that less effort went into, because maybe people weren't overthinking it. That's another thing that we can fall victim of as well, is overthinking things. And maybe that impacts us as well. Maybe if people are a little bit carefree and just went for it, like 9 times out of 10, those kind of low effort or kind of videos might do nothing, and then one might just go for whatever reason. As I say, I don't claim to understand how YouTube works well enough to know why it suddenly decides that video is worth pushing out to a bunch of people, and at the same time that so many people decide to click on it and watch it. Paul's having to leave. That's fine. Saying, coming across really well. Look forward to seeing more of your videos outside in the forests. All the best, Paul. Yeah, thanks, Paul. I appreciate that kind words. Thank you. I will do more videos out in the woods. I am just cautious of the fact it's coming into autumn and then winter, so I just don't know how much I'll do outside. I might have to try and do walkie-talkies just so I'm still moving. I think sitting on a little camping chair in the woods, I'm going to be pretty cold, so I don't know. We'll see. Evie was saying, Final Cut Pro too hard. Yeah. And then you followed that up with, I was trying to learn Final Cut Pro for a few weeks. I think iMovie has all that I need, but I can go back to it later. Yeah. As I say, it really does depend how advanced you want to get with your editing. As I say, I do want to commit, just as part of my commitment to try and improve my videos over time, I do want to learn slightly different things like keyframes and stuff like that. I don't really know anything about them, but I've heard other people say that they're a bit of a game changer. So again, I think maybe iMovie does do keyframe stuff. I think I've seen that, but whatever it might be, I know there's a ceiling with iMovie in terms of what you can do. But right now, it allows me to do what I feel I can do for the level that I'm at. So if you feel the same, Evie, then just stick with that. If it's helping you get your videos out there, and you can maybe do things a little bit faster and it's streamlining your process, then yeah, stick with it. Let's just see what else is in the chat. Bound to have missed some stuff. So out of curiosity, for those that are still in the chat, because my next video that I'm working on is about moving from 3 videos a week to 1 video a week. I'm just curious who or what everyone's schedules are at the moment. Well, first of all, what are you aiming to do every week? And that could be a combination of lives and long forms. Are you doing shorts to accompany that? Are you sticking to a strict schedule of when your videos go out? Like, do you have a time and a day of the week that you are sticking to religiously? Or if you are, say, doing 1 video a week, is it just when it's ready, I put it out there, I don't care what time it's at? It'd be good to understand what everyone's approach is, because recently I've been kind of just putting the videos out when they're ready. So I did my most recent one on a Monday at 3:30 in the afternoon, but just as easily I would do it at 9 o'clock on a Thursday night. I used to be kind of strict, trying to do like 6 o'clock on a Thursday night, and I think it was 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning when I first started, because I was trying to do 2 videos. Then I went to 3, and then I was like, oh, actually, there was enough pressure to get 3 videos out without having to have them at set times. So I just decided that as and when they're ready, I just put them out, and that's it. So yeah, I'm interested to know from everyone else what their approach is, and if you have set times, is that driven by when you think your audience is most likely going to be on YouTube? Because I don't think I've got enough data yet for that to tell me. I know in the vidIQ, if you upgrade and pay for like the paid version of vidIQ, it can tell you a bit more. But I know in YouTube Studio, it just tells me I don't have enough data to tell me when my audience is typically online. So I think most of my audience is from the States. So, if I was picking a specific time, I would probably pick it around a time where I think they would maybe come online and start watching, but just interested to know. Your California connection, I post every other day. I was thinking of doing a daily video format, but that is way too demanding for me anyway, and the amount of content would be a challenge. Yeah, that's interesting you're saying every other day, because that's, that's essentially 3 videos, potentially even 4. So yeah, interesting to see how you're getting on with that, because it depends on your circumstance. But yeah, I mean, if you're talking long form videos, that is a lot to commit to, because that's essentially what I was doing, was 3 videos a week, and I found that a challenge. But then if I didn't have a wife and kids, maybe I would do more. I don't know what your circumstances are, but yeah, or if it's like shorts, then obviously that can be a little bit easier. And I know I've not really used it. I did 1 short a few weeks ago just for a bit of a laugh, but a lot of people talk about Opus clips, and it seems to be quite easy to just extract shorts from your videos. And I thought, well, that's maybe an argument for doing that, but I've not tried it yet. Nicholas, I'm going for only 1 to 2 videos a week. Come a holiday season, I'm planning 3 a week. It's cooking, baking season. Yeah, and that's a good point, actually, Nicola, because, once summer's passed, and people are maybe indoors a lot more, People might, to pass the time, might want to do more cooking, and especially like when you get leading up to Christmas and stuff. Like, don't know about everyone else, but I just eat loads. Like running up to Christmas and stuff. It tends to start from in the UK. You've got the 5th of November, which is sort of fireworks night in the UK. So it kind of tends to start then. We go to the fireworks and we come back and we have kind of food and drink, and that just kind of seems to set the pace. And we've got like a few family birthdays that happen between Christmas and between then and Christmas. So yeah, we just go full tilt. And yeah, I guess if people are spending more time indoors, more interested in cooking and stuff like that, seasonal content, I never really thought of cooking as seasonal content, but it kind of makes sense in a way. So it's interesting, Nicola, to see how you get on going to the 3 videos a week. Now it's gone from 1 long per week, currently 2 long and a live, but not strict with it. Don't think posting time matters. In fact, YouTube says it doesn't make a difference long term. Yeah, that's exactly it. So yeah, I think that was kind of my conclusion as well. Was that it doesn't really matter what time it goes out. And as I say, I don't even have set days now. I feel like it's just like it adds an extra layer of pressure to think, oh, I've got to have it ready by then, because I could have good intentions of having a video edited and ready to go, but then like one of my kids might be off school ill or something like that, and it's kind of all the focus is on them. So and you might be the same as with your kids as well. Kids can be unpredictable sometimes, and when there's something going on, everything else drops. So I've now found like it'll go out when it's ready, kind of thing. Frank Skelper, hello Frank. Love from a fellow Scotsman. Where are you from, Frank? Thoughts on the chung? Not sure what that means. Nicola saying, don't think posting time really matters. I've tried a totally different timing and got more views. Your California connection, I've been scheduling videos and find that beneficial. Yeah, and that's it. I think the scheduling thing's good if you want to have set times so that you can, because if you do establish that, like, because obviously when that video first goes out, you want as many of your subscribers as possible to see it and watch it. So if like, well, the majority of my subscribers are in America, for example, then you might think, well, what's a popular time for people to come online? And that might be, during the week, it might be, I don't know. I mean, when would I go on YouTube? Probably after I've had my dinner. So sort of 6, 7 o'clock. So you might schedule it for that kind of time. And it just means that you don't have to be sat at your computer ready to hit publish at the point that you want it to go out. So the scheduling tool is obviously useful, and that's what I used to use. But yeah, now the only time I don't like, I mean, there's times I've been editing videos and like it's like, okay, right, it's ready to upload, and it's like past midnight, and then I think, well, again, my American audience might actually quite like that, because that might be about 7 o'clock for them. So maybe that's not a bad time to upload. But yeah, so it's maybe not a great example, but my point being is that, there might be times where I think I don't want the video to go out now because I don't think enough people will see it immediately. So I might just hold off. But generally speaking now, I just publish it. Nicola says, I can absolutely understand when you're still having to juggle with your kids. Yep. Yeah, yeah, this is it, and obviously a job as well. So, but yeah, and that's another kind of part of the reason to move down to one video a week. It was like, well, where am I finding time kind of for them as well? It's not really fair to spend every spare moment on YouTube. Um, and then you kind of get frustrated when you couldn't get after those things because you know rightly so, your family are asking, for your time, and I need to be more present as well. And I made a video about that a while ago as well. Was you know, it's there's nothing wrong with having the kind of the motivation to try and grow your YouTube channel and things like that. And I touched in that video about why I do it. I do it because I want to generate some extra income, and that would go straight into my kids. That would be kind of doing stuff for them and what have you. So it's all good intentions, but it can't come at the cost of the here and now with them either, because no amount of money I can earn from YouTube is going to give me that time back. So that's been another part of the motivation to kind of just slow things down a little bit and just do one video. Peter, I post my videos as soon as they are uploaded. Yeah, Nicola's agreeing with that. Yeah, I think that's kind of where I am these days. I say, unless it was like a really weird time, like if I had a video ready at like 6 in the morning, I maybe wouldn't put it out, but it tends to be in the evening anyway. We've got Vaughn in the house. Hey Vaughn, how you doing? Vaughn's going to be disappointed because I don't have my Home of Golf hat on tonight. I was going to, and then my wife, as I was coming out to go outside, my wife said, "Why do you always wear that hat on your videos? People are going to think you're a golf channel." So I was like, thanks for that. Just before I go on and do a live, I appreciate that. So I was walking out of the house to come here, and then I saw this hat hanging up, so I was like, I'll put this one on. Vaughan saying boo. Yeah, see, some people appreciate the Home of Golf hat. As you've just said to Nicola, that's what I'm scared of. Oh, yeah, I see Nicola's earlier comment. Make kids a priority, because let me tell you, they grow up fast. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And, Naz, you're the same, you're young kids, and that was kind of the thing. I mean, I try and do everything after the kids are in bed. So like, I do my live at 8 o'clock because they're asleep by then. And also like, I mean, my oldest in school now 5 days a week, but like today, like my youngest daughter she didn't have nursery, so she was at home all day. So I wouldn't want to do a live whilst they hadn't gone to bed, because she's been looking after her all day. So I want to finish work and then come and help her. But yeah, some of the planning, the evening time, I'm usually either recording or, coming up with ideas, editing, that type of stuff. And that is always after the kids are down. But my wife needs, some of my time as well. So, that's another reason to move to one video a week, is that, it was like every night was getting caught up with it. Whereas now I feel like I can sort of take nights off, which I should be able to, because it shouldn't feel like you're kind of obliged to be doing stuff on YouTube every spare moment. So yeah, I tend to, I don't think the kids really suffer for it. But yeah, just in general terms, it's, they do grow up fast. There's no doubt about that. And just being present with them in the time, in the windows, before and after school, before and after work, weekends, when they are around, being more focused on them is a good thing for sure. Nicholas saying, wish you could turn back time, but not possible. Yeah, I know. I think I say my oldest daughter, just started school a few weeks ago, and just didn't seem like that long ago that she was born. So 5 years is shot by. So I dare say it probably just gets time passes even quicker now that she's in school. So so there we go. How are we doing for time? 20 to 10. I'll probably keep going for another 20 minutes or so. But yeah, it's been interesting to hear people's kind of schedules or routines or frequency and things like that, because everyone on this chat's, we're all different circumstances. Some people might be obviously like Naz and I with having kids. Other people maybe like Nicola, who's got older kids, so doesn't have that as a thing so much. Other people could be retired, and everyone's got their own circumstances, which dictates the free time that they have. And even then, though, you might have more free time than some people, but then people have other things that they enjoy doing, other hobbies and stuff like that. So, people want to make allowances for that as well. So, everyone's got different things going on, and yeah, but I think that's why, to do YouTube, enjoying it is so important, I think, because if you didn't enjoy it, then it becomes a problem, I think. And it was certainly getting that way for me, trying to do 3 videos. It was kind of taking the fun away from it a little bit. Okay. Just having a quick look. What's the consensus then? Do we ditch this chat window in the top corner? Do we ditch that? Let me know. I was quite proud of myself for figuring out how to do that on OBS, because OBS isn't the best of tools. How's the stream been? Has it been choppy? Has there been any dips or anything like that? Because this is only the second time I've used OBS. Because I was using not live stream, StreamYard, but it just wasn't enjoying that being up here. And then when I was on with Jay on Friday night, we tried it. We did a test up here, but again, because it was through Jay's StreamYard, it just doesn't like the uploads. So yeah, a bit not great. Because me and Jay, I think, are going to try and do one a month, like a sort of double act. But yeah, I'd prefer to be up here because I speak quite loud when it's in the house and the kids wake up and stuff like that. So I don't know how we'll get around that. David's here. David Exotic Pulse. He says, "Hey guys, what's going on?" Thanks for joining, David. We're what have we been covering tonight? We've been talking kind of upload schedules, a little bit of burnout, a little bit of kind of gurus on YouTube growth that you shouldn't trust. Not naming names of anyone, but just some of the bogus information that people give to help you grow your channel. And what else have we been talking about? We've been talking about bits and bobs. But yeah, that's Vaughn saying stream's been good. That's good to know. Your California connection stream has been sharp and clear over here in California. Well, if it's getting to California without too much issues, then that must be a good thing. David's saying the same. Stream is good, no issues. That's good. Yeah, I think OBS is the answer for me. doing these solo ones. But yeah, if Jay and I are going to do a monthly one, I might see about if I can do that via OBS. But I know that having kind of guests or kind of two-person lives through OBS can be a bit funny. But I shouldn't complain because it's a free tool. And it seems to do the job for me, which is good. Let's just try to go up to the comments. Oh, yeah, and for anyone's benefit, for the benefit of those who didn't join from the beginning, there was some technical issues at the start talking about OBS. And I figured out what it was. When you go into OBS, you basically, you go start stream, but then you have to then click go live. So it was user error, which is my fault. Nicola again asking for people that joined to hit the like button. Thanks very much again, Nicola. Can always rely on Nicola to remind people. I like to do that on people's lives as well. Get people to hit the like button. There's a question actually for people that are watching. Then, if you've gone live yourself, is how well do you find those lives do for people watching them later? Because I don't get a huge amount of views, but then I just put that down to the fact people see a 2-hour long video and are probably less inclined to sit and watch that. But then, yeah, the only way I would do that is if I was like going to be like, because I've got YouTube Premium, so I can listen to videos. I can just like close, lock my screen on my phone. So if I'm doing stuff around the house, or sometimes I'll do it in the car and hook it up through the car's audio, and I'll listen to stuff that way. So like sometimes for work, I have to travel from here to Inverness, which is about a 2.5-hour drive. So like I'll just download, because you can download videos through Premium. I'll just download like one of Rob's lives, or like one of Jay or Naz's lives, or whoever, and because it might be for like a few hours, it's just something to listen to in the car. But if I'm just at home, I tend not to watch lives that aren't live. So I'm just curious to know like how people are getting on with their lives. Do they feel like they're getting a lot of views from them? I guess the good thing is that you don't need to have that many views to get decent watch hours from them, I suppose, especially if people do play them back and watch the whole thing. Let's just catch up in the chat here. Vaughn took some holidays end of August, and getting back into making vids has been a challenge between vacay and back to school festivities. Yeah, sometimes you take a break, and like I find now, anytime I take a break, you just end up with so much stuff to catch up on when you come back. So then, yeah, trying to get back into the routine of creating YouTube videos, I can imagine to be difficult. When I went on holiday earlier this year, I actually had some videos pre-recorded so that when I came back, because I was still doing 2 videos a week at that time, I had 2 that were waiting to go. So it took a bit of effort, to be fair, but I had 2 videos going out the week I was away on holiday, and then 2 videos scheduled for the week after I got back. So that's where batch recording and stuff kind of comes in handy. I'm not doing that just now. I just everything for the video that I put out now is done in that week. That just seems to be working best for me at the moment. But yeah, if you can batch, then it's good. Chappie is saying, I went back and looked. I did not have audio dubbing on, but I turned it on for my last video. Impressions way up. and CTR way down. I've turned it off now. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to influence you in doing that, but I don't think you'll see any benefit to having it on, is my thought. You may decide to change it again in the future. I might decide to change it again in the future, and if I did, I would let people know. But I just, yeah, personally, I think that you might get a load more impressions, but if only a tiny percentage of those are clicking on it, then, because I mean, for some of mine, I was getting, I think the most impressions I had was about 40,000, but my click through rate was 0.6%. So, that video is never going to take off, because YouTube will look at that and think, well, no one's clicking on it. So I would rather, in a weird way, have less impressions and better click-through rate and better retention as well. So I think you'll probably find that, because I thought it was quite exciting at the time. I was like, oh, look at all these impressions I'm getting all of a sudden. I must be this. I kind of tied that in initially with, oh, YouTube's finally understanding my channel and therefore is pushing it out to more people. But it wasn't that. It was just that, oh, well, we've dubbed this video in so many languages, so we're going to throw it out to, loads and loads of people. But yeah, I just don't think people want to watch dubbed content, is my opinion. David saying lots of stuff covered, that's great. Yeah, that was one thing I'd forgot to mention, David, was we talked about dubbing. I was just saying that my last video of disabled auto dubbing, and although there's less impressions, the click-through rate is a lot higher. I mean, you expect the more impressions you get, the click-through rate will start to suffer eventually, but yeah, no, I think it's probably best left alone. Your California connection, I haven't gone live yet. Is it in your plans? Are you thinking about doing one? Be interested to know. Nicholas saying, I still get views on previous live replays, Steve. Maybe because it's just on point to the cooking. Excuse me. Yeah. Again, yeah, that's a good point with your lives. If they're live kind of cooking tutorials, then there's, because I feel like when it's just like Q&As like this, or just kind of chewing the fat, they're probably better watched live, because it's obviously real-time connection. Watching one person talking to a bunch of people, oh, that light just went out. I thought it got darker all of a sudden. Yeah, watching me talking to, answering people's questions that are all typed out, not real time, is maybe less appealing. I think if you're doing cooking tutorials live, that's good because that's informative, and therefore it's just as good watched back later than it is watched at the time. Also, like, lives that likes of what Jay does where he's got someone on with him, it's a lot more convivial, I suppose, having two people on the live. Yeah, there's people still contributing through the chat as well, but again, that might be a bit more exciting to watch back. Oh, hang on 2 seconds. That's my cam link packed in again. Hang on. Come on. 2 seconds, guys. It's lasted longer than it did last week. Why is that not plugging in? Oh God, I think it's maybe broken entirely now. It's my capture card. Is it the camera? Is it? Everything's failing. My light behind me just failed. Let's try this again. Maybe it just needed a few seconds switched off. Oh, and we're back. We're back. So that's interesting. I got to an hour and 55 minutes. So if anyone wasn't in the live, yeah, I was saying you weren't kidding when you said it went a bit dark. Yeah, even more dark for you guys. Yeah, so I've got this Cam Link thing, which is like a, for anyone that doesn't know what it is, it's a capture card which allows me to do a 4K, not a 4K, an HDMI cable from my camera into my laptop. It just hopefully means that the picture quality is better. And I messed around with all sorts of stuff. I tried like a cheaper capture card, which just didn't work. This one is it's about £100, I think, and it's working well. But last week it cut out a couple of times, and it is a bit warm. It's not like hot, but it is heating up a little bit. And it cut out a couple of times last week, or not last week, 2 weeks ago. And this time it's managed to get almost to 2 hours, and it kind of packed in. My suspicion is it's going to do it again fairly soon, but I'm probably going to call it a day in a minute anyway. So yeah, that's why it goes, and it just needs to be unplugged for a few seconds before I can put it back in. Right. I just wanted to catch up on the last few comments before I call it a night. I'll just start from where I was. So Naz was saying, I get some views, probably about a third of the total watch time of my lives are coming from playback, which is pretty good. Like, I think I would expect to get the bulk of the watch hours from the live, because if, most of you guys have been here from the beginning and that's been 2 hours long, I wouldn't expect necessarily that many people to watch it play back for the full 2 hours. So a third's probably good, I would say. Your California connection. I heard from Rob, the Maritimer, that it can help your channel immensely. Yes. Well, if you want watch hours, it's definitely good to help get you that. But there's other benefits as well. So it gets you more comfortable speaking to a camera, I think. If you know you've got, I feel more relaxed doing this than I do, when I know there's people watching it in real time, than talking to a camera for doing pre-recorded stuff. So I think it helps with camera confidence, and then it's also a great way to speak to people that join the live. I was going to say subscribers. Obviously, you don't have to be a subscriber to join a live, but it builds community, and I get a lot of the same faces that join my lives that Naz also gets, that Jay gets, and Nicola and Catherine, who was on earlier on. She's live right now. So it's good. It's good fun, and I would say, Todd, if you're considering it, yeah, you should definitely give it a bash. A few people get put off if they don't have that many subscribers, thinking, what if nobody joins? But my answer to that is always just have stuff to speak about, and just, even if nobody joined, speak about whatever you're going to speak about. And you can always, you could speak about a topic for 20 minutes and then just stop the live. You don't have to go on for hours. I try and keep it to 2 hours because I just don't want anyone to, I know people don't feel obliged to hang around and watch the whole thing, but a lot of people do, and I think it's just a lot of time to ask from people. So especially when, as I say, we've got this kind of community of people, like, I think everyone tries to join each other's lives when they can. So I feel like it's a lot of time to ask, so I try and not go above 2 hours if I can. But you should definitely try it, Todd. Uh, there's nothing to nothing negative that will come from it. Naz, you had a big fly in your live. Was it last Sunday? I think it's found its way up to Aberdeen because I've got a big fly buzzing around here. I thought I'd killed it earlier, but never mind. David said, "Guess who's back again?" I'm going to assume that's in reference to my blackout earlier on. Todd, appreciate your time, Steve. Glad I caught the live. I'm glad you could make it, Todd. Appreciate you joining. Hopefully see you in future ones. David saying, do you get 2 hours per view? Yeah, I think so. I think that's how it works. So yeah, if you've got a 2 hour live, and if you've got 10 people who joined that and watched it for the full 2 hours, then you would get 20 hours of watch hours for that. What you probably find is that, I mean, there will have been some people on here that have been on the full 2 hours, but then there'll be other people who were in the beginning that dropped off, other people who come in, a third of the way through and then leave, half an hour before it finishes. So, you typically probably you can't really. That's essentially how it works, though. If everyone was in for the full duration, every individual's watch time counts, and then obviously, as you say, the videos, it's out there forever unless you decide to take it down for other people to watch later. So I know somebody watched one of mine from 2 weeks ago. They actually watched it yesterday. And they actually commented to say they just listened to it in the background, and they were like taking notes and stuff like that. So, they watched the full 2 hours of it, even after the fact. So, not everybody will, but they might. And the other, if Todd's still here, the other benefit of lives is as well is that there's no editing involved. You don't have to do anything like that. So that's good. Yeah, you might sit and speak for 2 hours to people, but what you get a 2 hour video to show for it. Whereas if you were to record a 10-minute long form video, by the time you'd come up with your idea, your title, your thumbnail, maybe scripted the video, recorded it, edited it, published it, that would probably take you at least 2 hours, if not more. And you've got a 10-minute video for people to watch, whereas with this, you've got a 2 hour video ready-made. I don't even have to publish it. Once I hit end broadcast here, that's it. It'll be there. So there's lots of benefits to doing lives. At the moment, I'm only going to do one every fortnight. I was going to try and do every week, but I've just got too much other commitments just now. So once a fortnight for me. Okay, I think I'm caught up in the chat, guys. I've ran over ever so slightly, so I'm probably going to leave it there. But listen, everyone that joined, and everyone that's still here, thank you for joining. I've not had a live yet. We've not had people and had really engaging discussion in the chat, and everyone chats amongst themselves and stuff. So it's great. Really enjoy doing these. Hope you guys enjoy watching them, and I'll keep doing them. And just listen. Have a good rest of your week, whatever you're doing. Hope all your next videos go well, and we'll catch up with you soon. Okay, I'll see you later on, guys.